All right, let's go to our last caller here. We're going to mosey on along. And this is a non-hand call here. This is going to be a non-hand call. And as I was telling, if you guys obviously caught the show late, that I've got a reporter in here, John, who's from the area. So he's played at Encore. And I was telling him about how sometimes we do non-hand calls. John can give a little wave in the background here. He's sort of mirroring us. And I was saying that we've got this non-hand call. It's going to involve promotional chips. And he was telling me that he thought that Encore in Boston Harbor might do it this way. So, Jake, you're up next here with the promo chip call.
Bart, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jake, where's this situation coming from? Where's it played out of?
Yeah, so of course it's Boston Harbor, the worst
Boston
managed
Harbor.
poker in the country.
It is at Boston Harbor. Because like I said, when I was talking to John about this, he said, hey, Boston Harbor gives out these promo chips. So, all right. So tell us what happened here at Boston Harbor Encore.
Yeah, so basically I went in one night, I think this was last winter, and it was at a 1-3 table. Me and my buddy, who I've known my entire life, we like to play together when we're there together. So I sit down at the table next to him, played for like about an hour probably, and my buddy wanted to exchange some chips. My buddy Liam, he wanted to exchange some chips. He likes to play with the Reds.
Okay.
I don't care.
Reds are $5 chips, by the way. Yep.
Yeah. So I exchanged $75 worth of Reds for $75 worth of greens. So I took the greens.
Okay.
And these had been passed around all night. Like we had been playing at the same table for, like I said, for like an hour or so. I don't really remember the details that specifically, but it's not that important. I didn't really notice them in my stack, but so when I went to cash out, I go to you know how you have to cash out downstairs at Encore,
right?
Of course, they don't let you cash out upstairs,
right?
So when I go to cash out, they go, "Oh, these you can't exchange for cash," and I go, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, they're promo chips," and I go, "What do you mean?" And I look at them, and I didn't even notice that they're literally promo chips. They have no monetary value, which means that you can't use them like for cash. You can only use them at like the blackjack table.
So, but didn't you get these chips from your friend though?
I did, but he had won them from this elderly Asian gentleman at the table,
okay,
who apparently looked kind of sketchy. I'm not sure. So the guy had been playing with promo chips at the table.
So just to sort of summarize this, if just so people can understand what you're saying is that you ended up with $75 in promo chips that
Correct.
You went to try to cash out with downstairs, and they're like, "Hey, these are promo chips." Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So these promo chips are given out if somebody wins some sort of high hand promotion or something like that at the top of the hour. Is that right?
No, I honestly had no idea where they came from. I've been there since they opened back up in COVID. I've never seen them before at the poker table.
Oh, so excuse me. Okay. Cause this is different. Cause I know at Chasers, right? When I go up to New Hampshire, they'll have these high hand promos. They don't give out promo chips, but there are other rooms that might give out promo chips for some sort of high hand promo. But Boston Harbor Encore, they haven't done like these promos like since pre-COVID. You're saying that this guy that you suspect somehow like bought in with these promo chips, or at least put them on the table, these greens, which are quarters that look like regular chips, and nobody really saw them or identified the fact that they weren't real chips. Somehow they got over to your stack, and now when you go downstairs, they won't cash them out for you.
No.
Okay.
And the dealer didn't notice. No one said anything. Like these non-monetary value chips are just being passed around like Monopoly money, and no one said anything. And I don't know if someone else got them. I know I just got $75 worth of them.
Right.
Or
and you also don't, and also
but
too, you don't know that this Asian guy was the one that actually brought them on the table. Somehow these chips got into play, right?
Yes.
And
correct.
and do they look very similar to the regular quarters, the regular green chips?
Yes, same size.
Okay.
Like I said, I couldn't. They were in my stack the whole night. I couldn't
So
even tell.
what did you do when you realized this?
Yeah, so so when they said that I couldn't cash them in, I was like, all right, well, I'm obviously gonna have to talk to like a manager or something. Went to Karen mode.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So I went over to all like the floor managers I could find, and they all pretty much said the same thing. We can't do anything. Um, Sorry. Like you can use them at the blackjack tables, but you can't cash them in. I was like, nice. So I finally went up back upstairs and or where I originally went to try to cash them in. And I was like, I was like, listen, guys, if you guys could maybe like review some tape
Oh,
or whatever.
they're never gonna do that, dude. I mean, no, I mean, I'm not saying that what you're asking is unreasonable. I'm just saying that I've been in this business for long enough to know internally in my head that if I had the thought of saying that, if I were you, my brain would shut myself down because I know that it would never happen. Especially in this particular situation, just because you never know how long those chips were gonna be in play. I mean, I would think that if they hadn't run promos like in a long time and these chips hadn't been given out, again, it's one of these things where preemptively maybe the room somebody in the live chat is saying that they run these promos on Sundays. If they run the promos on Sundays where they're giving these chips out, then they probably can't do much. But let's say that they haven't run these promos in a long time. You would think that where these chips haven't been given out in 2-3 years, that they might just give you $75 because obviously somehow these chips got into play. You would think, like as a good bit of customer service, they would do that. It wouldn't surprise me if they wouldn't do that, but you would think that they would. Now, if they're given out on regular times, I don't know necessarily like how much they can do. But I mean, if they think he could be used for blackjack, here's the thing about blackjack, Jake. Have you ever played blackjack before?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Well,
Unfortunately.
I mean, if you know basic strategy blackjack rules, right? Basic strategy. I'm not even talking about like having to play high limit where they stand on soft 17, but even if you're playing out of a 6 deck shoe where they hit on soft 17, you're only at like a 0.55% disadvantage. So I mean, if you've got $225 in these chips that can be used as blackjack chips, then I mean, you're really only losing a dollar or two. Although I will say it depends on what kind of promo chips they are, because if they're the chips where you say bet $25 in blackjack and you win the hand and they take the chip from you and they only pay you the winnings, then they're actually worth half as much as you have. Do you
That's what
follow
they
what I'm
were.
saying? Okay. So
That's what
really,
they were.
you really only have like actually like 110 or $112 worth of money here. You actually
Yeah.
have half as
Yeah.
opposed. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, so in when I was playing poker, I thought I was risking $75,
Right. Right.
but I wasn't actually.
Right. Right. So what ended up happening? Did you just go and like put the bets on blackjack or what?
Yeah, so before that, they actually did review the tape.
Oh, wow. Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they reviewed the tape, and so I came back like 2 days later, and they told me that I willingly took the chips from my buddy who had won them from this Asian guy who sat down with all of them.
Okay. So they did track it down, and the Asian guy that sat down with them, you colored them
Yeah.
up with your buddy willingly, obviously, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And that they couldn't do anything about it because I willingly took them from him.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between you willingly taking them from your buddy and you winning them from the Asian guy in the pot?
That's what, yeah.
It would have been the
That's
same
what I'm
thing,
saying.
right?
Yeah.
Well, so just to sort of wrap this one up here, T Frank in the live chat saying that Encore last month, one Thursday, the high hand was 1,000 in promo chips only, which many poker players were not happy with because they could only be used in specific situations. And again, as I'll say, Mr. Frank, if they're giving away $1,000 in promo chips and it's like what the caller is saying where they take the chips from you when you win the bet, it's not worth $1,000. It's worth half of that. It's worth 500, right? It's not worth the full 1,000. The other thing too that's really messed up about this is that you would think that the promo chips would look much, much different than real chips. The fact that everybody is confusing these promo chips with the actual quarters is ridiculous, right? I mean, it's the reason why tournament chips look so much different than regular chips. Now, if you did an examination and looked on the chip, I assume it says like promo or no cash value on them, but they look enough like regular quarters where you were confused by it, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
No idea. Had
I
no
don't know
idea.
why they're running these one-off promos with chips that are very, very similar to what cash game chips look like. And again,
Well,
way back, go ahead.
from what I've seen, because I've played there a lot and I've seen high hands get paid out. I've never won one, but they always come over with actual chips. It's never promo chips.
Uh-huh.
They always come over with like actual chips, and they give it to you right at the table. You sign for it, whatnot. So that's why I was confused why the dealer allowed this gentleman to play with it. I mean, she probably didn't notice either,
Well, obviously the
but
dealer didn't know, right?
yeah,
I mean, the dealer didn't know. It's just weird. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, like about 6 months ago, we were talking about how Encore stopped giving away free drinks. And then during the WSOP, I actually want the former head of Encore, who opened up resorts in Vegas, doesn't work there anymore. Actually, I spoke with him on the phone, and he was kind of telling me about. I think his name was Gary. He was telling me about how a lot of the people that work there, they're sort of their hands are tied now because the people that are sort of running the room don't necessarily have a lot of experience with poker like what was before COVID, when it was a really, really when it was a really great room. And there's the people that are in charge there, are casino people. They're not poker people. So, but then when we did that, they gave away free drinks again. And I would just say, if anybody's listening to this at Encore, I don't understand. I mean, one of the easiest things that you can do to rectify this situation, obviously this guy got screwed, is to you gotta use different chips that can't be confused with cash game chips if you're handing out promo chips. Now, I agree with you, Jake, that most places will give you real chips, like in a high hand promo, but it's there's nothing scummy about them giving away promo chips. It's just something that's non-standard. It just is what it is. You know what you're getting. But they've got to make it so that you can't confuse the promo chips with the actual cash game chips, where the dealers don't know that they're different chips and everyone's just using them really with as cash game chips, because obviously you're the one that got screwed, because really they're worth half as much as what they say they are. So
yeah.
did you end up betting on them in blackjack or what?
Yeah, so at the end of the day I gave it up because I just was getting the same answers, and I went over to the blackjack tables. I tried to sell them for half what they were because I hate blackjack. It's just a sucker's game to me, and I ended up no one wanted to buy it, so I put it all on a couple blackjack hands and lost it within like 2 or 3 minutes, and then went back up to the poker tables.
Well, that sucks. But like I said, hopefully maybe somebody at Encore is listening to this if they ever try to do that again. Or maybe even if it's not the management that listen to this, at least the people that play there, you players out there will at least know, hey, they're doing like a weekend promo. I'm going in to play on a Monday or Tuesday this week, and they just did a weekend promo. I better look at my chips and make sure that none of these promo chips get in the stack, because obviously they're close enough where people are confusing them.
Yeah, shout out my guy Richie Rich. He's been emailing management there the past year now, trying to get stuff changed around there. So,
All right, Jake, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
yeah, thanks a lot, Bart.